She has been a county prosecutor, a state representative, her state's auditor. She has been a U.S. senator now for 12 years. She is perhaps the only Democratic senator under the age of 70 who is not apparently about to announce that she is running for president. She has always been someone, personal privilege here, she has always been someone who I could imagine very easily in the job of president. I have thought that for years. But apparently she's not running. She is, though, leaving Washington. And so I came down here today from New York to make sure I could talk to her before she went back home. Senator Claire McCaskill of Missouri, thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, it's great to be here. This is a perfect last live interview as far as I'm concerned.
So this is the last interview you're doing as a senator?
Last live interview as a senator.
I thought about, like, bringing a beer and, like, telling you that it was okay to swear.
Shotgun
and, like, seeing if I could. But I have a feeling I don't actually need to loosen you up that much. You seem like you're kind of psyched to be.
Yeah, probably not. I'm ready.
I want to ask, I have a bunch of stuff to ask you about leaving the Senate and this point in your career. I do actually have to ask you a news question.
Sure.
Particularly because your role on the Armed Services Committee. What's your reaction to this surprise announcement from the president today on Syria? He's saying all U.S. troops out immediately. It's clear that it's clear from the Pentagon, it's clear from Senator Corker on foreign relations. There appears to have been no process leading up to this at all. Right. What's your take on it?
Wildly irresponsible. Very dangerous. This is one of the most complicated places in the world. The cross currents in Syria are so significant. We have the Kurds who have made our victories possible. They have fought shoulder to shoulder. They have died on the battlefield with American military to defeat ISIS. And we are leaving them twisting in the wind. By leaving there, we were the balance. Even though there were only 2,000 people there, it was a balance that kept Turkey kind of at bay and also, you know, was a caution to Iran and to Russia and to Assad. It's not so much that he's pulling, it's the way he's doing it with complete disregard for the complexities that are involved, without talking to our allies, without having a plan, without trusting the military leaders that have been telling him for months, don't do something rash here, but because his politics need something rash right now. Mm-hmm. That's why he's doing this. And that's what's most disturbing, that he is making these irresponsible and impulsive decisions in the context of our military involvement around the world. Pretty scary stuff.
You're suggesting this is a wag the dog decision, that he's doing this to change the news cycle.
And to, I think he's getting heat from his base that he folded on the wall. Mm-hmm. And I think he's preoccupied with his rallies and what he told everyone, that Mexico would build it, he'd get a wall. And he also said, I'm going to bring people home from all these entanglements around the world. So I think he is saying, oh, I'm in trouble because I folded on the wall, so I'll go over here and do this thing that I promised I would do. Damn the consequences. I need to somehow repair my political image in terms of being strong and decisive. And that's what's so disappointing about this, because he puts a lot at risk, and the men and women who have died there deserve better.
The president acting in those terms, to me, that would make sense if what we had seen was the president pushing this issue at the White House, raising this issue, telling people he wanted to do this, starting to talk. I mean, he's every once in a while he talks about this, but as far as we can tell, there was no process leading up to this. He did just kind of blurt it out, leaving the State Department absolutely flummoxed, the Pentagon absolutely flummoxed, even senior administration officials who were put out to explain it today, they had no idea what he was talking about. What I am particularly worried about is this reporting that this idea of the president came directly from the president of Turkey, with whom he spoke just several days ago. And what you're just talking about with the Kurds, obviously, the president of Turkey would like nothing more than to have the United States military out of the way so he could mow down the Kurds, so he could have his way with them because they're so threatening to him in his domestic needs. I mean, I'm worried about the prospect that the president has made this decision at the behest of a foreign government. I don't know how we figure out whether that's true or what the consequences should be if that happened.
Well, I think the way to kind of look at it is he's surrounded himself with people to advise him. And either they're being indicted or they're being ignored. So what is the point of attracting people with any kind of working knowledge of the subject matter, especially in something as complex as what's going on in the Middle East, particularly in Syria. If you're going to completely ignore them, including the hawk of all hawks when it comes to Iran, Bolton. I mean, Bolton just said a few weeks ago, oh, no, we're not going to let Iran have that kind of power in Syria.
He said, we will not leave. The U.S. military presence in Syria won't end as long as Iran still has troops on the border. Well, Iran still has troops on the border, and apparently that's no longer operative.
Yeah, never mind.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.